So I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that you're all gonna die. So that's pretty bad. However, the good news is that you still have a future. So how do you reconcile that? The first, sorry, I have to set it up right. The first thing to understand in life, in philosophy, in religion, in psychology, in any discipline that explains about the natural activities and attributes of beings in general, and not just human beings, is that any entity that is animate, that has a soul or an atma or a person residing within it, as the soul is the same, whether it's a tree or an animal or a human. So, if you think we are special, we are in a certain way, because we can understand how to get out of this entanglement. Again, the game of life is rigged. You just, as soon as you're born, you're starting to die. But that's the body, and the body is, it's like when you go to a car dealership, or Craigslist, or whatever you buy your car. And you look for a car that is going to last you a while, right? Low mileage, and it should have good reviews, consumer reviews. But eventually, but you know that car is not going to last your entire lifetime. You will have to eventually get a new one. That's no major existential crisis to know that when you buy a car, it's not going to be the last car you have. There will be more coming up to that. So we bought this particular vehicle, the body, and don't get too anxious about it. Don't get too fancy. Don't start decorating it and making plans forever for this body, because this body is going to change many times, not just once, not just at the time of death. Actually, your body will change every 7 years. Everything is new, brand new. Cells, everything, hair, nails, everything. It's a different skin. Everything changes. So every 7 years you got a new body, and eventually the body's old and decrepit and not functioning very well. The organs are tired. The lungs cannot really move freely, and the heart cannot really pump like it used to when it was younger, and it can't live there. The soul has to go somewhere. So that's where the state of your consciousness will determine your place of destination. That's why you say you do have a future. You didn't say a good future. Well, it's probably not a bad future. The fact that you're here is a good start, I will say. Your coordinates on your human GPS are doing fine right now. So do not take the crowded alternative route that goes down, and you don't want to be there, where your consciousness gets polluted and distracted, and you place objectives in front of you that are not permanent. Because if we are actually permanent or eternal, it means we don't have a beginning, we don't have an end. So there's something that we should be doing constantly, regularly. Right now, we have different things, different lifestyles, different plans, different desires. These are all creeping up due to the contact with the material world. Material world means a place where there is birth, old age, disease, and death. That's the material world. Whether you're in a higher level or lower level, whether you have money or no money, you have beauty or not, education or not, wherever you have, you're still in the material world. Just like a prison. Let's say if you have a solitary cell, or you are friends with the chaplain and the warden, and you have a private cell with a water pot and a drinking fountain and a window looking at the patio, it's still in prison. You may have better accommodation, but you're still in prison. And the fact is, you can't get out until your term is done. So this is This is the problem living in the material world. And in the Vedic literatures of India, this world and the ruler, the warden, is called Maya. Maya. You heard that word before, right? Maya. Maya means that which is not. In other words, illusion. Just like, for example, if you have a dream, it may be very vivid, you may be seeing things that are very much alive and affecting you. But they're going to go as soon as you wake up. They're not going to mean anything. Once you're awake, you have a different life. So right now, we're in a dream state of sorts. You see, we are identifying with a particular situation. I'm a male. I'm a female. I'm old. I'm young. I'm black. I'm white. I'm Japanese. I'm Korean. I'm American. And this and that. All this stuff. I belong to a certain community. I belong to a certain tradition, a certain religion, a certain social strata. All this stuff is really a temporary misidentification. You're identifying with a particular group or a particular race or gender that is actually not you, has nothing to do with you. Just like you, if you're dreaming of identifying with certain people and certain foods and all that stuff, but it's going to be gone as soon as you wake up. So the process of yoga, I heard a nice definition the other day, is bridging heaven and earth. That's what yoga means, to actually connect with our infinite nature. That's what yoga means. In the West, and in the East as well, I may say, yoga has been translated, I say, as an activity to make you limber and, so you look good and you can do amazing stuff and reach a certain level of awareness. The chakras, you heard of the chakras? Yes? Well, there's no such thing. If you cut open a skull, you'll see no lotus flower in there. The chakras are basically imaginary points for meditation purposes, so you actually stop thinking that you are the gross body. We need a little help, right? It's like if you're teaching, what could you teach? Nuclear physics. You can go to MIT and you'll have a great time, because you just give simple phrases that refers to huge bodies of knowledge, and everybody will get it. Oh yeah, I understand. I study all that. Whereas if you teach nuclear physics in a maximum security prison for the criminally insane, you will actually, you could, but you will have to change your approach, because these people will actually be looking at you as a dish, basically, something that you want to eat. And therefore you will have to teach them in such a way that to entertain them, to elevate them, because their consciousness is very low and it's mistaken. So, why did I say that? Because we are in a prison for the mentally insane. That's what the material world is. What everybody believes, I am the body, I am this, I am that. But you're not. You're not. So therefore, there are different levels of yoga to explain to you that you're not the body, you're the soul within the body. And according to what level you're at, one particular type of yoga will appeal to you. There are many kinds of yoga. So the most basic practice of yoga is called Ashtanga, which is not basic. Ashtanga. Ashta means 8, Anga means limbs. So this yoga has 8 different portions, of which Hatha yoga, which you probably have heard of, is the lowest. Basically, you have to learn how to sit down and shut up. And shut up your mind too. So this is the lowest possible form of yoga, Hatha yoga, which is
taught as the highest in the West, like Hatha Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, all this illumination, enlightenment, and so on. No. It's just so you can sit down without fidgeting, and you can bring your mind under control. And you have to breathe in a certain way, with a certain pattern, so you actually become peaceful. Because it's the opposite of hyperventilating, basically. So that's your yoga. And then you go into more complicated stuff, like yama, niyama, basically rejecting or giving up the things of this world, so they are kind of glittery. And therefore yoga is practiced in solitude most of the time. Another piece of news that I'm sorry to give you, all that, rolling the mat and meeting your friends with the latest design that are leotards, that's not really well, it works for the West, which is a good beginning. It's like for the criminal insane, it will work. But you actually have to learn how to detach yourself, because you're going on a journey. You're going away. Like my wife and I are going to Mexico tomorrow. Not a vacation. We're going to the dentist. It's cheaper, better. So we had to pack. We had to prepare. We had to think, okay, how much money do we need? We need the passports. And are we driving there? It's crazy driving there, so we should park on the border and then cross on foot and then take an Uber to where we're going, etc., etc. You make a lot of planning, even just to go to Mexico. And what are we going to eat? And that's just to Mexico. All of you, me included, and probably earlier than you, we're on a big trip. As soon as we leave this body, we are gone. There's no more connection with this part. All these beautiful experiences and horrid experiences you've had, they will be things of the past. They will be lingering in your mind, in your subtle body, in your false ego. There will be kind of a tingly sensation that something happened in the past. So you won't remember. Most of the time, you won't remember. Certain things you will recall, if not fully. Like, for example, if you go to the edge of a building, you're on top of a building and you look down, you can't freak out unless you're crazy and looking for adrenaline. This is, well, why do you freak out when you are in a high position? Because you must have fallen. You must have been, fallen before in a previous life somewhere. So you still remember, there's an impression there. It's very strong, but it's not identifiable very well. So all of us we have certain marks from the past. And this is actually good. You may think, well, if I had a past life, I would like to remember it. No, that's not so good, actually. Because you had many good things and probably just as many, if not more, bad things happen to you. So why would you want to remember that? And how do you become detached? At a certain point, mostly out of frustration, most people realize that, if I could be free of all of this, I have too many clothes in my closet, I have too many contacts on my phone, I have too many this or that, I have too much food in my refrigerator, I have too much. Yes, and then you become very detached. Say, I should give this up, I should detach myself from all that. This is called renunciation at a crematorium. When you see that your body is going to be burned, and you become very detached because there's nothing you can carry with you. So this is what we should practice. Not that you have to give up everything. You can use whatever is good for you. If there are things that are dragging you down, if there are things, like for example, there was a very serious incident at USC recently that 3 students apparently OD'd, right? Killed themselves. To me, that means the system is not working. Because why a young person going to a prestigious university, studying the career that hopefully they chose and not their parents, are in such, they have such a level of anxiety that they want to take their lives. That means the system is not working well. And I have further bad news. I have a lot of bad news tonight. The bad news is that you don't die when your body dies. This body is a concession because you have many desires. You can cultivate spiritual desires or you can cultivate material desires. Now, either can be fulfilled, but material desires, they burn like fire and they're never satiated. They keep burning. You can, if you're hungry, you want food, you can eat, and then you get sick from eating too much. Or if you have sex, you derive great pleasure, but if you are forced to have sex 48 hours non-stop, you will be very sick and very tired. And sick physically. So anything that you want to do, and in great amounts, you will find a problem with it. So the fact is that you have a body right now that you can feel some kind of relief. It's not actually ecstasy or bliss, pure happiness. It's actually some kind of relief. Just like before sitting here, I had to go to the bathroom. And I felt some pleasure in going to the bathroom, but the pleasure was in getting rid of the urgent situation I had to face. That was a relief. That wasn't a pleasure. No, there's nothing positive about it. I was feeling miserable and then I felt pleasure. It's the same when you're hungry. You're hungry and then you eat good food like the one they make here and you feel great satisfaction. But you forget that you were miserable a moment ago and you will have eaten anything, done anything to fulfill, to just try to quench a particular urge, which is eating. So at the time that you may wrongly choose to take your life, if anybody does, there is no cessation of the misery. What you don't have is a body to try to satiate those desires that you have. You lose the chance to get a body. Your subtle form, in the form of mind, intelligence, and false ego, continue, and the soul, continue on, but you don't have a material body to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sexual desires, any of that. So it's a very miserable existence. So one should take one's situation and make the best out of it. And our situation is that most of you are young, good for you. So you got an early start. So you should actually see who you really are. And what do you really want based on who you really are. Because you know what your body wants. Your body wants sleep, wants sex, wants food, wants this and that. But that is, even the animals can do that. Seriously. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Those are 4 things that we have in common with the animals. So if you think you're, well, my greatest pleasure in life is eating at different fancy restaurants. But that is just trying to satiate the misery that you feel when you're hungry. So you pay a lot of money and you fill up your belly. The elephants can eat 150 pounds of food a day. And they feel the same satisfaction that you do. They don't have to, tip the maitre d'. They don't have to do any of that. You just eat what's available. They rip a banana tree and they chew it to pieces. Several, actually. So, and if you think, yeah, but I can have sex and it's a very sophisticated thing, I can do it in an island in the South Pacific, in a beautiful setting and so on. But sex is sex. You feel sex desire and then you do your thing and then you feel satiated or satisfied for a while and then you have it back. Just as bad. Pigeons, those annoying little birds, can have sex up to 70 times a day. Or more often even. Yeah. So pigeons have a handover of whatever you call those 3 fingers they have over you, because they can have a lot more sex than you, feeling the same satisfaction that you do. So elephants, cockroaches, they can live anywhere, and they can eat anything. Yeah, we require a roof over our heads and some kind of decoration. Roaches don't need it. They can live anywhere. So we should take advantage of this human form in order to get out of that cycle. And that cycle is called samsara. Samsara means birth, old age, disease, and death. Those are the only problems in life. And as long as you have a human body, you can solve that problem. But if you behave like an animal, if you actually concentrate on these 4 activities, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then your consciousness will be stuck. And you will actually get the privilege of getting, next time, an animal body instead of a human body. Because an animal body is better suited for those activities than human bodies. And then you'll be dull. You'll be dull. I mean, people imagine when they talk to their pets that the pets talk back to them and all that. But really, come on, seriously? You can talk to your dog and imagine all that. I once saw a cartoon by Gary Larson, The Far Side. I don't know if this is too old for you guys. And there was a guy explaining to the dog that he shouldn't get into the kitchen cabinet and eat stuff like that. So in one of the squares of the cartoon, there was a guy saying, "Listen, Ginger, you cannot get into that cabinet and eat the food that's not meant for you. You understand, Ginger? This is the last time I'm telling you, Ginger." Okay. And the next square was what the dog actually understood, which was blah, 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 Ginger, blah, 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 Ginger, blah, 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 Ginger. So don't become a Ginger. Yeah, just stay in the human form and try to make progress. Because we have a divine nature. And this is what we should aspire for. It's not something that you have to get. It's something that is inherently yours, and you have to recover it. So you need to prove it. We have serious amnesia, and you have to just remember who you are. The process that we were actually following, before I sat here and admonish you for not doing the right thing or whatever, it was the right thing. Actually, for this age, in different ages, and these are kind of cosmic ages, they last a long time, there are different processes of yoga to practice, to attain self-realization, of consciousness of the self. In previous ages, long time ago, people were they lived a little longer, and they were healthier, and they were smarter, and they were more pious, etc., etc. And they could actually perform great austerities, great meditation for many years. It's really hard to find a place where you can be by yourself without being bugged. And probably if you go to a solitary place, you expect to have Wi-Fi there, right? So in those ages, you could actually practice long meditation and yoga and austerities, not eating very much, not sleeping very much. Nowadays, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. So as the age progressed, things got worse. So nowadays, the process recommended, the process of yoga recommended, is called bhakti. Bhakti. Bhakti yoga means yoga of love or devotion. And the process has been simplified for us. Because it's, the sages could foresee the future, and they gave us a break because they knew we weren't going to be qualified. We weren't going to be very austere, not very detached, and our intelligence will be always clouded, and where our level of anxiety will be off the charts, and we will sleep poorly and eat very poorly. Students can attest to this. I see students every day, and they say, this is, when we serve them lunch, they say, this is the healthiest thing I had in 6 months, or something like that. 4 things, yeah. And what you eat turns you what you really are. So you eat crap, you become that. So you have to stay out of this. And the process of bhakti gives the concession that by chanting mantras, particularly this mantra is a very powerful mantra. It's actually considered the most powerful of all mantras. And mantras are thousands and thousands of mantras. There are many words that they have spiritual nature and they have potency in themselves. Not just that you can imagine or you can build up some kind of imaginary frenzy within your head. There's actually a potent syllable or word that comes from a spiritual strata and can actually, like a magnet, take away all the nasty stuff that is surrounding you and impeding you from seeing clearly. Because that's the point, is to see clearly. Right now, we have a veil of material desires, lust, greed, anger, madness, illusion, pride, all these things that sometimes they are cultivated as if they were virtues, clouding our vision, our spiritual vision. So the mantra is like a powerful cleanser. It's like literally cleaning it up. And the more you chant, the more it goes away. However, some of us may have more layers than others. So do not be disappointed if it doesn't happen overnight, or if your material desires cannot be eliminated rapidly, because there's a ton of stuff to do. It's like when you do a cleanse. Let's say you do a liver cleanse or something like that. The first thing that will come out of your body are toxins, and they will translate in foul smell, or the tongue will be coated with something bitter, and you just you feel worse than before. This is simply a process of cleansing. It takes time, it takes work. Just like if you're washing your car, the first thing is crud and mud and all this stuff that comes out. So you don't give up just because that comes out. You just continue until the car is clean. So this mind of ours is being polluted for many lifetimes. And now we have a chance to clean it up with mantras. So simple, so simple. You can, if you, all of you had if there was a contest, the best, easiest process of self-realization, you were given a blank sheet and a pen. You have to come up with the fastest, nicest, easiest form of self-realization. You couldn't come up with something as simple and as nice as chanting mantras. And when done in company, when done in the association of like-minded people, is even more potent. More potent. So what we did before and what we are going to do next is your lifeline. Yeah, you can do other things, you can try whatever you like, you can insist until the cows come home, but try the mantra, try chanting mantra. That's the process of bhakti that really works. Really works. And we have, I can see a few familiar faces that have been doing this process for a while. It works. It works. These are intelligent people that if the process didn't work, they will give it up. It's no point. Not out of pride that you keep doing it. And the mantra is such that the more you chant, the better it gets. The more the flavor comes back. This mantra meditation is compared to the cure for jaundice. You know this disease? Jaundice is a disease of the liver that basically you can identify it easily because your body turns yellow. because of that bile disruption. And the solution is to take raw rock candy, sugar. But when you take it, it tastes bitter. So the more you take it, the more your bile will normalize until eventually you will actually feel that it's sweet. So what's the amount of material bile that we've been accumulating? So I don't know. It's up to you. So take the mantra, take this mantra, write it down, chant it with music, without music, silently, whispering, openly, in any way you can. And the more you do it, the more you will feel the sweetness coming back to you. And then everything else will seem insignificant. And your amnesia will be gone. You actually remember who you really are. And you won't have to ask anybody, what should I do? Because the soul knows. All right, enough of a diatribe. If there are any questions or comments, we'll welcome them now. We have a couple of minutes, and then we get into the chanting. Yes, please.
Is it possible to reconcile religion with meditation?
Well, the word religion comes from Latin. It's re ligare. Ligare means to put together. And the word yoga comes from the root yuk, which means to put together. So you have to actually see the world as God, the divine, will see it. So there is no discrepancy between religion and meditation. Meditation is part of religion. If your religion is not teaching you that. You know why people go to a certain church? In America, they did a survey quite a while ago. Because it's closer to home. Because it's a shorter drive. So that's not very philosophical, I would say. It's actually economy. And they go to a certain church because they like the people there, not because of the religion itself. So we should not be spiritually lazy. We should actually, they say gold is where you find it. So do what you need to do in order to find what's yours. And what's yours is your relationship with the divine. That's yours. And whatever religion takes you there, whatever process takes you there, that's the right one for you. And if something can help that, then be open enough and do that too. So yes, whatever you're practicing, whether you're a rabid fundamentalist, or you're an atheist or an agnostic, whether you're whatever your twist is, whatever your religion, whatever your path, just add the mantra. And you can't go wrong. There's a story, and this is a true story. Maybe I've told it before, but not to some of you. There is in the 1920s, there was a guy in Russia that he read the Bible, and he found out a statement that said ceaseless chanting of the holy names. He couldn't understand what that meant. Ceaseless chanting of the holy names. It's right there in the Bible. So he became a mendicant on purpose. It's not like he was unemployed or, no, he actually traveled from place to place, kind of on a perennial pilgrimage, and he will ask monasteries and wise men and anybody he could find, what is the meaning of that? And people told him different things, but he wasn't satisfied. Until one day he found an old monk, and the monk said, well, you're involved in this Christian process, so just say, Jesus' prayer. Jesus Christ, give me your mercy. Just say that 300 times every day. He said, okay. So, and come see me in a while. So he did that for in addition to other, he will do prayers, he will do fasting, he will only eat bread and water for quite a while. He did that for a while and came back to the monk, and the monk said, so what happened? And he said, well, not exactly sure what happened, but when I was doing the other stuff, my prayers and my ablutions and my austerities and so on, I could only think of the prayer that you gave me. He said, okay, then it's working. Because it was more powerful and it drew your consciousness. So the mantra will do that. No matter what else are you doing, whatever is stronger will draw your consciousness in. And the mantra is the most powerful thing. And even there is a, I can't remember where it is, Svetasvatara Upanishad, one of the Upanishads, I think it is, that says that this process for this age, this particular age, is pretty much your only ticket. I mean, if you have other names of God, and so means the one who possesses all of that in the unlimited degree. And the word Rama means the source of pleasure. We all want pleasure. Well, go to the source. Cut the middleman out. And Hare or Hara is the feminine form of the divine. Because God is not some kind of old guy, sitting on a cloud, throwing thunderbolts, giving people eternally starched sheets to wear and a trumpet or a harp. Send them to a cloud. Okay, that's your cloud. Go there forever. Good luck with your tune. Keep practicing. This is a horrible idea. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine that's paradise? No Super Bowl, no Mexican food, just a harp or a trumpet, the same tune forever, sitting in a cloud, cold and wet. Because that's what clouds are. They're cold and wet. Yeah, it's horrible. Horrible. So the mantra will take you past that infantile conception of heaven or paradise and so on. So again, religion, no problem. Just whatever your religion is, add the mantra. Because meditation should be part of every religion. And if it isn't, it's the wrong religion. Just go to another one. Yeah? Any more? Yes, please.
Could you say something about the role of a guru in the spiritual path?
We need guidance. We need guidance, whatever you do. Like, a lot of you guys go to college, right? Yeah. Why do you do that? Why don't you just buy a book? Why don't you just learn on your own? Because there is an old guy or a young girl, whatever the professor looks like, that took the trouble to learn the essence and have enough didactic ability to teach it to you. It's simple. You just take help from those who can help you. So the process in spiritual life is not much different. There is an ascendant process, which is you group, you try to understand everything by yourself. And there's the descendant. You find someone who knows and take it from them. And it's tempting to grope around and try to figure everything out of yourself. But that's how kids are. When parents try to tell them something, don't tell me. I know, don't tell me. Just they want to figure it out by themselves. So if you want to figure everything for yourself by yourself, then you can't take help. You have to discover electricity by yourself. You have to discover the wheel by yourself. You can't take help from anyone else. So spiritual life is very subtle, and you need help, you need guidance. So the role of guru is very important. He's a teacher. Without a teacher, you're rowing a boat that has an anchor in it. So you can row day and night, but you're just going to go in circles because the anchor is still there. So, thanks for the question.
I just was wondering if you could touch upon when you were talking about the looking over
a tall building and how you said that was like
Yeah.
you're scared because of a past life.
Many things may scare you. You may be scared of darkness. You may be scared of people. There is one boy we were talking to today. He was supposed to come, but he was too scared because of the topic that we were approaching today. And you may feel happiness by looking at a sunset, or by looking at a flower, or by looking at things. You know, these are desires that you've cultivated in the past that give you pleasure. Like if you go in front of the ocean for the first time, you feel overwhelmed. Practically speaking, this is amazing. Everybody feels the same thing, pretty much. I mean, this comes from the past. You have actually, and if you feel fear, then you may have trauma. That may have happened.
If you're looking over like a tall building though, like what about the idea that you could fall and like die? Like that seems like kind of rational, right?
It is rational, but if you're a 6-year-old and you look over and you get scared, that's, 6-year-olds are not very rational. They don't get the point that they want to jump and die. Matter of fact, a friend of mine lived in a 2-story house. I grew up with him, and he decided to make a parachute out of newspaper and throw himself off the 2nd floor. He did. He was a strong guy, so he survived and got a broken leg and got over it. But it was a stupid idea. He didn't know. He wasn't very rational about that. Yeah. So, yeah, don't try things. Don't try things. That's why a guru is important. He will give you the right medicine. Like for example, she's coughing, so she goes to the pharmacy and said, "Do you have anything for coughing?" Right? That would be the right approach. Or she can go and say, "I like those yellow ones. I'll take those." And it happens to be a laxative. So if you cough, you're in trouble, for sure. So you should take guidance from a pharmacist or from a doctor. You always have to take advice. Yeah, things are, there are many things that we may not know, may not have a chance to know, but it's not your burden to know everything. You don't have to be omniscient. You just have to know what you need to do. That's enough. There's the ocean and there's a cup of water, and your quota is a cup. So when the cup is full, you'll be fine. You don't need to get the ocean in order to be satisfied. So there are many things that may not be very clear that you don't really need to know. Like unless you have OCD or something, you just go in front of a building and you need to know how many windows are in this building and how many doors and how many feet are in between the elevator and then, you don't need to know that. You have an appointment in the 3rd floor, just go there and get out. That's it. It seems a little pragmatic, but it's an easier life than trying to figure out everything. Because what you have unlimited capacity for is to love and to receive love. So you should concentrate on that. The other stuff you have limited approach, limited capacity for it. So don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone going through a breakup?
Going to a what?
Going through a breakup?
Choose better next time. Well, it depends. It depends. Is it your fault? Is this her fault? His fault? Its fault? There's no. Actually, this is this idea of karma that you think is not my fault. If you say it's not my fault, then you don't understand karma at all. It is your karma. You build it up. Now you have to live with it. You're going to a breakup. It's very painful. There's nothing worse than getting your heart trampled and broken. Nothing worse. But it's mendable. you can learn from it. Just make sure you don't do something you regret. That you hurt the other person just because you're hurting. Try to be friends. Matter of fact, I do have a guru, and my guru, when was asked by his disciples, I would like to marry such and such. His question was, are you friends? Would you be, if that person was of the same sex that you, would you be friends? And if the answer was no, then the answer about marriage is no. You shouldn't. You should be friends. You should have some affection. That comes first. Because the first thing that comes is infatuation. Oh, I like the way she smells, and I like the way he looks. But eventually he will look pretty bad, and eventually she will smell pretty bad. So you can't rely on that. You have to, go further than that. So there should be friendship. There should be some strong bond, not just attraction. Attraction is not enough. It will eventually fade away. You will get old, and you won't be as attractive. Actually, when you see old people that they look pretty hideous, that's your future. Hello. Wake up. This is how you're gonna look. That's what people are gonna see. If that's all you are, you're the material body. So then you think, oh, I'm old, I'm young. Yeah. That's actually very temporary. You can't be judged by the car you drive, right? So don't worry about the car. Just keep it clean and work in order and move on with your life. You are not the body. You should tattoo that backwards on your forehead, so when you brush your teeth, you can actually remember you're not the body. The body is temporary. The body gives more misery than pleasure, I can assure you, after a few years more than you in a body. Yes, more misery than pleasure. That's why we're going to Mexico. Because, anything just throws you, tosses you. I mean, you may be lifting weights, and pumping iron all day and be a triathlete and so on. And then here comes a bug, the flu virus, the Hong Kong flu virus. And it tosses you around. You can't even see the damn thing. And it tosses you around like a rag doll. Yes. So there you go. There goes your theory about being strong. No, your body is doomed. It's gonna collapse. So just don't make an institution out of it. Out of worshiping your body as a self. You're not the body. So how many volunteer for a backwards tattoo on the forehead? Yeah, just chant the mantra. Yeah, that's the good news. You don't need to get a tattoo.
You could write it on your mirror.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That is a good idea. Actually, I may do that. I don't like mirrors. I don't like to have mirrors. Not because I'm a vampire or anything. I just don't like to look at the body. I'm tired of it. But it's good. Maybe I'll take all the mirrors and put you're not the body. Yeah, that's a good reminder. My guests will feel a little uncomfortable. Anything else? Yeah.
So I don't advocate drugs, but some people do take psychedelics or microdose psychedelics and sometimes meditate while taking them and claim to be having out-of-bodies experience or really transcending and meaningful experiences. And I'd be very curious to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, well, that's self-realization is not cheap. You can't. I mean, I was going to give a bad example, if you to get a degree, it's not a question of paying, but since we are at USC, I can't say that. It's not cheap. to become self-realized. It's not like you can pop in a pill and then you're done. You smoke a joint and you become wine withdrawal or something like that. Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy. You have to work for it. For example, if I told you that I teach to play piano, and in only one lesson you can play, you can be a concert pianist. A 1 hour lesson, you become a concert pianist. Will you actually believe me? No, of course not. Okay, well, I'll tell you, you can run, get on a bike and go on the Tour de France, and you will get in the top 10 of the Tour de France, just if you come to my shop and take 1 hour lesson. Would you believe me? No. Okay, I can go through an enormous list of things that may promise a lot, but they don't deliver. So, if I tell you the purpose of life is to understand the self, and just by taking this pill, or by smoking this joint, or by smoking crack, or whatever it is, this blue meth is fantastic. You will achieve self-realization for only $49.99. 2 hits and you're done. Nah, no thanks. No thanks. Have you taken drugs? No. Good for you. So those who have taken drugs and believe they are God, they're deluded. God doesn't go to the dentist, for example. And all of you will have to go sometime or other. You will get a toothache. Hopefully not, but you probably will. So it's not cheap to become the supreme or by easy, cheap means, like taking drugs. It's just cheating. You have to actually work very hard. You want to play the piano, you want to, be a cyclist, world-class cyclist, you have to work so hard, and you may not make it. Well, in self-realization, if you put the work, you will get it. Just chant the mantra, and you'll be happy. I promise. Or your money back. Except for what you spent for dinner. That you will eat it. Any other question before we get chanting? Yes.
How to deal with anxiety?
How do you deal with anxiety? Well, in my case, it's very easy. You just give it to others. Just kidding. Anxiety is an all-pervading illness of being in a material body. This world is created on the basis of anxiety, that everybody's anxious about something. Matter of fact, there are 2 words, one for the material world, one for the spiritual world. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha, which means without anxiety. That's actually the word for the spiritual world. And the material world is called Kunta, where there's just anxiety. Because everything that you do has an uncertain future, and there's fear associated with it. I see, again, we serve lunch to USC students, faculty and stuff, and I can see that everybody's in anxiety. And you're in the prime of your life, right? You're young, you're healthy, you're smart, you have money, because otherwise how can you cough up 70 grand a year? So, what's going on? How come you're in anxiety? Because that's part of the material world. So as long as you live in the material world, and you're part of the material world, your consciousness is attached to it, you will have anxiety. And as soon as you detach your consciousness from the material plane, your anxiety will start going away. And going away. So, the advice for you, stick to the mantra. Really stick to it. I mean, take it as your lifeline. Like, there's nothing. It's just you're drowning in the middle of the ocean, and you see a lifeboat, and just hold on to it, because that's all there is for you. So in this world, no matter what you're going through, you're not the first person who has anxiety. You won't be the last either. The only way you can do it is by practice. You have to do it regularly. And detachment, to see things for their intrinsic value. Is this something good for me? Or this is something that is going to pull me down and make me cry and spend countless hours talking to my friends about it, have a broken heart, all this stuff. It's like you can see it from above. You may not be able to get rid of it, but you won't be so inside of it that you will be trapped, like in a bubble. You actually, when you raise your consciousness, you start seeing things at a distance, so you can actually make better choices, much better choices. You will be peaceful. You deserve it. It's yours. Take it. Don't let time go by. And you may say, well, it's for old people. I'm young now. Now I need to enjoy life and so on. And when I get old, I'm frustrated with that. Then I start practicing meditation and all this and become spiritual, blah, blah, blah. No, this is the time. This is the time for learning. When you get old, you get calcified. You can't learn much. I used to learn languages like there was no end. I could learn any language very quickly. Now I can't learn anything. My brain is full. I have no room for any of that. So right now, you're young, take advantage. Learn the things that you need to, the tools that you need to move around without suffering the consequences of being in a world where everybody is in anxiety. And most people are drowning, but they're seeing a dog go by and they just wag the tail thinking, oh, he's going to take me to shore. No, the dog is about to drown himself. So all these other methods of stuff, they're temporary relief, but there's no end to the situation. Anxiety is, what can you say? Materially, you can't fix it. It's terminal. It's 4th stage. You can't operate. You're done. But you can transcend. You can be above it, and then anxiety will be below. It won't bother you. Just like an ocean and rivers. The river goes into the ocean, but the ocean is not altered by it. It remains calm in the same way, same volume. So let the rivers of anxiety come to you, but take the mantra and raise above it. Good luck. Yeah. Okay, guys. I don't want to delay the hosts anymore. They've been cooking wonderful stuff for you, so we'll do a kirtan before we go. And I really appreciate your attention for those who are still awake. And those who went to sleep, well, when you wake up, you won't remember anything. Good for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good Karma Cafe. That's his.
Instagram.
Oh, okay.